This Thanksgiving and this Black Friday that's coming up, we're going to extend free shipping store-wide to people specifically that have the promo code FREE.
Well, ever since the WikiLeaks emails showed spirit cookings related to the Podesta brothers, the hashtag Pizzagate has also been trending when it was discovered that they were using strange code languages within these emails. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this. It's been huge on social media. And I just want to have this caveat here before I bring on Joe and Maggie to talk about Pizzagate and everything about it. Now, a lot of people have been begging us to draw more attention to this. And for a lot of people, Pizzagate is what has started their path down the rabbit hole. So they're freaking out. They think this is the worst thing on the planet. And I'm not saying it's not or it couldn't be. I'm just saying there are a lot of other big things going on that InfoWars has to focus and report on. We cannot just divert all of our time to this. So I'm sorry if you aren't satisfied with our coverage, but here's the problem. We're going to come on here. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to cover all of it. And it still won't satisfy people because I cannot tell you what happened to Maddie McCann the night she was abducted. I cannot tell you whether John and Tony Podesta were in Portugal with their friend Sir Clement that night she was abducted. I cannot tell you if James Alphonsus is running a child pedophilia ring. I cannot go into the basement of Comet Pizza and raid it and search around, okay? I can't do any of that. We can come on here and we can talk about all the alleged activity. We can talk about all the scathing stuff that we found via WikiLeaks, FEC, and all the connections that people out there have made, but I still cannot satisfy you on those grounds. So we're going to report on this. We're going to talk all about it. And I don't know what the answer is as far as what we do next, guys. But I don't know. I feel like we need to provide that caveat because people are they're so upset by this. Mm-hmm. The ties are so deep. It's so weird. And yet there seems to be nothing being done. Joe Biggs.
Well, you know, a lot of it is speculation. A lot of it is if you look at something hard enough, you're going to see what it is you want to see at the end of the day. When you've made so many connections to something, you're going to end up making more connections and more connections and more connections. It's just like that movie with Jim Carrey, the number 13, I think it is, where 13 is tied to all these things and it just spirals out of control. And, you know, 1 + 3 is this and that, and it goes and goes. But what we can tell you, for one, that the Clintons have been involved with Jeffrey Epstein. We do know that. You know, that is a fact. We know that spirit cooking is a pretty screwed up thing that John Podesta and many other celebrities have been involved in. We do know that Anthony Weiner, the husband of Huma Abedin, Clinton's closest aide, was sexing young women who were underage. Mm-hmm. We know that Comet Ping Pong Pizza is owned by a guy who used to date the guy for Media Matters, David Brock.
Right.
So, you know, there are some things out there that are interesting that could, you know, with that being said, to start this off, maybe there are some things going on. Not saying that pedophile rings don't exist. I'm sure that they are, but right now everything is very alleged. So, but what we can do is talk about, you know, what do we do now? You know, there's Podesta emails right now. A Podesta email from WikiLeaks says still in torture chamber. You know, that's kind of weird. You know, what does that mean? The realtor found a handkerchief. I think it's a map that seems pizza related. Now, there are different meanings for map and there's different meanings for handkerchief. Apparently, if you go look up handkerchief code, that's an actual thing where gay men use these different colors to break down what it is they're looking for. BDSM, you know, things that I can't really mention on here, different types of sex, bondage, piercing, it goes on and on. So they're saying this in an email and it's very suspicious. What does it mean? But at the end of the day, it still is alleged. We don't have any concrete evidence as to what it is pertaining to.
And unfortunately, again, I can't force the Podestas to make a comment on this. I can't call up John or Tony Podesta and say, hey, why are you talking about spirit cookings? Why are you appearing to be talking in code language in your emails? Why do you have strange artwork in your house? I mean, these are things that we just can't do. Now, I guess if the more people get involved, the more people start talking about it, maybe we can force the issue. But now we're seeing stories breaking, just saying that fake news is covering this, or stories breaking saying that child pedophilia isn't a crime, but just a disorder. Margaret, what do you think?
Look, so when you tweeted this out this morning that we were going to be talking about this, Twitter opened up. Retweet. I had to shut my phone off at a certain point because I had to focus on nightly news.
You literally, if you want to pick up Twitter followers, just hashtag Pizzagate.
Hashtag Pizzagate.
You'll get 100.
And we are actively, I want to say this to our audience, we have a heart for the truth. I know these guys up here, we really want to get to the bottom of this and we want to bring you the right information. Here's the problem. So let's just take James Alefantis for a moment, the owner of Ping Pong Pizza, Comet Pizza, and his partner, alleged David Brock, the relationship between the two. David Brock is knee deep in the Clinton machine. He's a very high level political figure that his boyfriend, there's a lot of speculation about the business that he owns. Here's the problem. So James Alefantis has gone on the attack. There's an article in the New York Times where he insinuates that us, The fake media are out to cyberbully him and destroy his life, his reputation, and his business. Here's the problem. So mainstream media news articles, this one, WUSA, which is not a mainstream media, it's Inside the Beltway. They have gone on the attack. Anybody in the fake news trying to cyberbully him, he's managed to get Reddit, Facebook, even Twitter to censor and remove anything related to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, anything related to him as a person. And they're playing by these weird rules that says any personal information on websites like these, we are liable as we're subject to a lawsuit if in fact we indict him in something that we cannot prove. That's the problem. Now, going back to what Joe Biggs said, this stuff is awful. Those emails, literally, when I first read these emails, you and I were on the air. It was during election week coverage, and I couldn't sleep at night thinking about the possibility of how sick these people are. We know that the Clintons are criminals. We have documented that well here. We had a presidential candidate say, look, when I'm in office, you're going to jail. We do know that. What we don't know is what these emails signify, what they mean. Do they have any involvement? It looks like to me as a reporter, I'm speaking specifically on my own merit, not InfoWars, not Alex Jones. For me personally, reading these WikiLeaks emails, it looks like some really fishy crap that doesn't sit well with anybody looking at them. And the fact that this Comet Ping Pong crap is in play right now, and this man's gone on the attack. We're very limited as to what we can say because a lot of this information is, of course, alleged. Therein lies the problem. It's very frustrating as reporters for us to bring this because, look, we freaking hate pedophiles, okay? I'm just going to say that right now. There is nothing more despicable to me as a person on the earth. It's the thought of somebody molesting or abusing children. It is physically sickening when you think about it. And the fact that these two Podesta guys, who frankly are weird as all get out. I'm sorry, but they are. And that's not a statement of fact. That's a personal opinion. The fact that we have, these weird, crappy, strange emails that we can't explain, and the fact that we've got, this possible pedophile code is very alarming. And unfortunately for us, and I know that we're not going to let this go past today. We continue to dig. We continue to look at this. Information is given to us as reporters all the time. People send emails like you wouldn't believe, and you got to verify them. And there lies the frustration for me as a person. But I will say this, that Elefantis character has gone on the attack for the fake news, and the fact that the New York Times is defending him, I have a serious problem with that. Everybody else has gotten on the bandwagon except for us. We're sticking out our necks. People, there have been alleged deaths over this kind of stuff, and yet we're still covering it because we want people to know what we know.
Well, how is a guy named Elefantis, one of the top most influential people in America, and he's just a pizza pie store owner, supposedly.
That's actually a great point. He's got all this international money. He seems to have tons of political leverage. A pizza shop owner. It's not. I'm not saying it's not possible. Obviously, it could be possible. But I don't know. Point to one other instance.
Is Papa John's one of the most influential people? That guy.
Papa John's is a major pizza chain. I don't see Papa John's holding any. Or
women or little girls taped down to a desk.
Which
but look at this though. New York Times has an article: pedophilia, a disorder, not a crime.
And now we're seeing these articles come out more and more.
And you have people like Salon who cover these stories where they actually have pedophiles come on and talk about, holding some little girl and saying, oh, I looked at her, but I never touched her, or I would never do that. I just fantasize about it. I'm sorry, the fact that you're fantasizing about that isn't right in any kind of way. That's not normal. It's not a disorder. That is a crime. That's horrible.
And remember, we've got Joe Biden who fondles children
allegedly
on the camera. No. That's not alleged. We have footage.
Because listen,
now, hold on a second. You have footage of Joe Biden groping children on tape, okay? They come to the White House and he touches and rubs them and whispers in their ear. That's not alleged.
Look,
that happened. I'm not saying he did anything illegal. I'm saying that happened. And then he also gets a bracelet with a pizza bead on it, allegedly from Barack Obama. More weird stuff. And then, of course, as we said, all this major political money going through Comet Ping Pong and Pizza. But I would think if I was some sort of a big, tough rogue agent who was really thirsty for justice in either the Washington police, here's the footage. Either in the Washington, D.C. police, either in the FBI, anywhere, why wouldn't you be gung-ho going in?
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
That is some disturbing crap.
I guess you've never seen that?
No, I've seen it. I want to be careful to say alleged because I understand the implication of saying something as a reporter when it's not, oh gosh.
I understand.
It gets me a little, I'm sorry.
Well, there's a lot of things that can kind of be, debunked as well. Yeah. The whole walnut sauce thing. That's an actual Ligurian sauce that people use. It's a cultural thing. A lot of people do make walnut sauce and use it for pastas. So that's not really out of the ordinary. The whole thing about can't wait to go to your hot dog stand in Hawaii. Well, I actually got on and I looked up hot dog stands in Hawaii, and there's quite a few of them throughout Hawaii. They do exist. And you have Tony Podesta, John Podesta's brother, who has these statues and this artwork that resembles Jeffrey Dahmer, the way he left his people pose. There's weird things that are going on.
And not to mention his favorite artist depicts little girls being hit in
Biljana
a
Djurjevic.
way. It's disgusting. It's the most despicable stuff. Why you would ever have that in your house is mind-boggling. You know, depicting children being abused for pleasure. That's what these art pieces are.
And everybody is, sitting here because they want to, they want to be part of this. They want to be part of the justice revolution via We the People. And they want this Pizzagate to be huge. But let's keep in mind, as Pizzagate is ongoing, who knows what sort of investigations are being done. I don't know if the FBI is investigating or not. I don't know if the Washington Police Department is investigating or not. I don't know. James Alefantis hasn't made any statement as far as that concerned.
Well, there was a girl who, codenamed Molly on Twitter, whose account was taken down the other day after she started posting these
And Reddit
files.
was taken down too.
Well, she tweeted out today, and I don't know if this is real again. She could have created another one, but we'll say that it's maybe her. Just spoke to the FBI about Pizzagate, and they all kind of brushed it off and said it wasn't something important. But what do we do know though? Actually, I mean, let's talk about things that really do exist within pedophilia rings and all that. I mean, hot dog in their lingo means boy, pizza means girl, cheese means little girl, pasta means little boy, ice cream means male prostitute, walnut means person of color, map means I can't say that word. And sauce is orgy.
I've seen different, perhaps, meanings of walnut, too, which we don't need to get into. But here's the thing. Whether or not this code is code for pedophilia, again, this is all alleged. But we actually know. I mean, you've got Jimmy Savile. You've got Dennis Hastert. You mentioned Anthony Weiner earlier. I mean, you've already got major political influencers that have been brought down, involved with sex acts,
Dennis
sexual
Hastert,
deviance.
For those of you, and I literally, following this man's crimes, he was actually, he wasn't even convicted of the crimes he was committed of. Bank fraud
This
not what he
image,
did.
by the way, is a web that somebody made on the internet that links it all. Go ahead, Margaret.
Oh gosh, and just getting on and I know we're running out of time here, but there are, to your point, there are insanely sick, powerful people in this country. Dennis Hastert being a prime classic example of that, getting on, the defense of marriage as Speaker of the House, and it turns out he was molesting little boys for decades, trying to pay them off as adults. We know that this is happening. It's incredibly frustrating to not be able to. I want us to make a dent in this, guys. I really do, and that's where my frustration comes in with this stuff, because we don't. The information that's coming out, we're needing really concrete things to go on. And if people have anything, by all means, send them on Twitter. We don't care if we're censored, Frank. Send them if you've got anything that's breaking or that you think could matter in this, because literally that's what it's going to take to put this over the edge and make somebody in law enforcement take a serious look at this stuff prior to just going, oh, it's fake news, trying to smear political opponents. That is not what's going on here. Dennis Hastert was a Republican, by the way. He was not a Democrat. He's one of the sickest I'm sorry, guys. Served under the Clinton
and the Bush administrations. And again, it's just weird. I mean, this is in DC. We know that there's tunnels in this area. The people who own a lot of these buildings on this block can be tied together with political contributions. So again, it's all very strange.
One of the emails, which is definitely odd. Do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese and on pasta? I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of like code talk. I mean, it's
code talk.
That's not a normal thing. Like you don't text or email your buddy, hey, you want some dominoes on your hamburger or something like that? Like, what the hell is that? Like, that's something you've come up with and you're using to get around something.
Alleged pedophile code. That's what that is.
It does seem, though, and you mentioned we came in because so many people were wanting us to draw more attention to this. So many people were wanting us to break news on this. When in reality, folks, I mean, it's pretty much been you out there who enjoy getting your hands dirty in this type of research that have been breaking most of this stuff, doing most of this. But it does seem it's kind of started to go mainstream. RT out of Germany, I believe it was today. I had to have this one translated here. Pizzagate holds the net in hand, presumptions about Washington's pedophile ring in the Clinton environment. It's been alleged for years, folks, that there is a ring of pedophiles in Washington, D.C., that there is a ring of pedophiles that have been blackmailed into positions of power and then maintained those people via blackmail. This is something that's very serious that's been alleged. So could this be the tip of the spear? Could this be the string that pulls it all down? I don't know. Right now, we can only tell you what we know. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Margaret. We'll be right back with more.
I want to thank the listeners and viewers of InfoWars. We've changed the world. Even mainstream media admits that we're bigger than CNN, we're as big as Fox, we're bigger than the BBC, on Quantcast, you name it. I want to thank you all for your support. And on this Thanksgiving and this Black Friday that's coming up, we're going to extend free shipping store-wide to people specifically that have the promo code FREE. Some of the specials are as high as 50% on incredibly high quality products like Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver. That's 50% off and free shipping. That is a lost leader at InfoWarsStore.com. Trump is My President shirt is about to sell out. It's limited edition. It is for sale at cost, $9.95, shipping included. All you have to do is put in promo code FREE at checkout to get free shipping on top of discounts up to 50% off store-wide at InfoWarsStore.com. You can also call toll-free 888-253-3139. But for myself, the InfoWars family, and everybody else in this fight, I want to salute and thank all of you for your support, whatever you do. Keep spreading the articles, the videos to everybody you know. It is absolutely devastating the globalists because we're on the march and the frickin' empire is on the run. I want to thank the listeners and viewers of InfoWars. And on this Thanksgiving and this Black Friday that's coming up, we're going to extend free shipping store-wide to people specifically that have the promo code FREE.
Well, ever since the WikiLeaks emails showed spirit cookings related to the Podesta brothers, the hashtag Pizzagate has also been trending when it was discovered that they were using strange code languages within these emails. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this. It's been huge on social media. And I just want to have this caveat here before I bring on Joe and Maggie to talk about Pizzagate and everything about it. Now, a lot of people have been begging us to draw more attention to this. And for a lot of people, Pizzagate is what has started their path down the rabbit hole. So they're freaking out. They think this is the worst thing on the planet. And I'm not saying it's not or it couldn't be. I'm just saying there are a lot of other big things going on that InfoWars has to focus and report on. We cannot just divert all of our time to this. So I'm sorry if you aren't satisfied with our coverage, but here's the problem. We're going to come on here. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to cover all of it. And it still won't satisfy people because I cannot tell you what happened to Maddie McCann the night she was abducted. I cannot tell you whether John and Tony Podesta were in Portugal with their friend Sir Clement that night she was abducted. I cannot tell you if James Alphonsus is running a child pedophilia ring. I cannot go into the basement of Comet Pizza and raid it and search around, okay? I can't do any of that. We can come on here and we can talk about all the alleged activity. We can talk about all the scathing stuff that we found via WikiLeaks, FEC, and all the connections that people out there have made, but I still cannot satisfy you on those grounds. So we're going to report on this. We're going to talk all about it. And I don't know what the answer is as far as what we do next, guys. But I don't know. I feel like we need to provide that caveat because people are they're so upset by this. Mm-hmm. The ties are so deep. It's so weird. And yet there seems to be nothing being done. Joe Biggs.
Well, a lot of it is speculation. A lot of it is if you look at something hard enough, you're going to see what it is you want to see at the end of the day. When you've made so many connections to something, you're going to end up making more connections and more connections and more connections. It's just like that movie with Jim Carrey, the number 13, I think it is, where 13 is tied to all these things and it just spirals out of control. And, 1 + 3 is this and this and that. And it goes and goes.